All right, I think we're live. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see, gotta confirm, make sure that I am live on all platforms. Let's see what's going on here. Guys, I think we're live. I think we are live. Let's do it. All right, so guys, in this live, I'm gonna be doing a new series, right? And this series is called Relationship Red Flags for High Performers. What are some of those relationship red flags for high performers? And the reason why I'm dealing with this is because there's a lot of high performers, I speak to them all the time, who feels like they're crushing it at work, but feel crushed at home. They feel disconnected from their personal relationships despite the personal success. Or some people might be feeling a lack of clarity, a lack of direction, or even purpose. And I want you to know that you are not alone. And that's the reason why I'm starting this Relationship Red Flags is it a podcast? I guess we could call it a podcast. These lives that I'm doing for high performers, so that you'd be able to balance your bank account and your love account. Because let's be real, like we all have a love account. We all have that need to feel loved on the inside. And if we were to go get a statement on your love account, where would that be right now? Right? High performers typically have decent bank accounts and we always want to get it to be more. But where are you with your love account? Now, not only where are you with your love account, but how's that person that you're in a relationship with, how's their account? Where are they right now with their love? And so that's some of the things that I want to be jumping into. And I just want, for some of you guys who don't know who I am, I'm Keston, right? Most people call me Kes. Friends call me Kes, so you could call me Kes. And I was forced into personal development about 14 years ago when I went through the most traumatic time of my life, which was divorce. Now, some people, you could Google this, some people compare divorce to death. Why? The reason why is because it's a death that always continues. It's a death that always continues in the sense of you continue to see this person time and time and time again, but that relationship died, right? And me having the spiritual background that I have in Christianity, when two become one and there's that level of bonding and then the separation of that, it's like a death. And so that was one of the most traumatic times of my life. And from that, I was forced into personal development where I had to learn how to undo myself from marriage. And so that sent me down a rabbit hole of just becoming a better person, being happy for no reason. That was actually a book that I read that really helped me on my way to the person as to who I am. And since then, I've been through other things that weren't as traumatic, but I think it really lends to some of the things that people go through in life, which one of them was an identity crisis, where I used to be a DJ, travel all around the world internationally. The biggest crowd I played for was about 30,000 people. And so I'm not talking about an identity that was just some little thing. It was one that had a lot of great benefits to it. And then when I stopped being that person to be a regular civilian, I had to go through that transition. And so that was a defining moment in my life where I had to learn how to go from having that identity to a new identity. And I learned so many lessons in that transition. And then another significant transition that I went through was when I said that I was done being a 9-to-5er and becoming an entrepreneur. So it's from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship. And I have learned so many things, even from the from the divorce, that helped me through some of these other transitions that I have gone through. And so I want to share with you guys some of the relationship red flags that I see in today's world. Like, I coach a lot of men. I coach people, I coach both men and women, but I coach more men. And one of the things that I see is most people, they're not happy, they're unfulfilled. They go through these different things in their life and they blame it on the relationship. Now, so I want to start calling out some of those red flags. And today I'm going to be dealing with one in particular, one red flag. And that red flag is they continuously prioritize work over their relationships. They prioritize their work over their relationships. Now, let's talk about this because this is a big one. I feel like for us to discuss prioritizing work, and this could be a hot topic. I can see how many people may feel like, hold on, bro, like, but you gotta provide and you gotta do all these different things. I do agree, but let's break it down. Right? And for us to be on the same page and to have a conversation, I do believe that there are some beliefs that we have to talk about first. And the first belief that we have to address to be able to deal with this prioritization of your job, a career, real estate, whatever it is that you're doing over your relationship, let's call it revenue over relationship. For us to deal with that, the first thing you got to deal with is this belief that there's no balance in business and relationships. I hear a lot of gurus say that there's no balance in relationships and business. And I disagree. And guys, some of the people that I've heard say this are way more wealthy than I am. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But I want to share with you guys a principle that allows me to believe that. And I also know really successful people who have billion-dollar companies who does have a healthy balance. Let's talk about Sarah Blakely, the owner of Spanx. She is married to a billionaire, Jesse Itzler, and the truth is they got married after they have created a lot of wealth, but there are so many other stories of people who are doing really well with balancing their relationship and their revenue. And so what's this whole thing with there's no such thing as balance? Here's the principle that I believe. And for me to explain this, we got to go back to something that we all learned, well, hopefully you did, when we were kids growing up, probably in about the 3rd grade, 4th grade. And that's the order of operations. The order of operations. I know, hold on. You're saying, Kes, what does this have to do with what you're talking about? It's a principle, right? With the order of operations, you remember the PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS, the acronym that we were told to be able to understand the order of operations. And so it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and so on and so on. And so let's go to a really simple, I'm gonna jump on the whiteboard because I think for me to be able to show you guys this really well, I have to go on the whiteboard so that you can actually see it. I don't wanna prove something, like I gotta be able to show you guys, right? So let's go to the whiteboard. So with this, with the order of operations, let's say a super simple, let's say 4x, oops, nope, I want an actual marker. Let's say 4x minus 1 equals 11, right? 4x minus 1 equals 11. And so we talked about the order of operations. So 4x really means 4 times x. And so there's an invisible bracket right here, right? And now we got to solve for x. Now, 4 times 3, right? So x is equal 3. And how do we do that? So 4 times 3 equals 12. So 4 times 3 minus 1 equals 11. 4 times 3 is 12, so that will be 12 minus 1 equal 11. And then we have 12 minus 1 is 11 equals 11. So this is correct, right? So x equals to 3. And now this is balanced. So we have a balanced equation using the order of operations. Now, Keston, what does this have to do with balancing success and relationships and all of that? Because if I asked you, everyone that's listening to me right now, what is success, what would you tell me? You would have a number, right? You would have a number like, hey, I want to be making $1 million a year, $1 million a month, whatever it is. So if it is, we were to say, and we're going to go back to the whiteboard right now, if we were to say, here we go. So if we were to say 11, if we were to change 11 to your success, this is your success. So 11 equals your success. That means, right, based on everything we just talked about, that means everything on the left of the equal sign have to equal to success. So everything else has to equal to success. Now, what would be some of the other things you would put on the other side of the equation? Because on this side, most people have an outcome. They have a result, right? They have a result. And on this side, we got to do things to get that result. And one of the things you got to do is you got to have a business or something, right? So let's go on the left side of the equation. Matter of fact, let's put that up here. And I'm going to write success equals, oops, that's way too many. So I'm going to put that up here, equals success. And so on the left side of the equal sign, some people would have business or careers, right? I'm talking to high achievers, so I'm going to put business in here, right? So whatever business you do is going to give you the number that you need to get, whether it's real estate, whether it's crypto, whether it's whatever it is. That's going to give you what you believe success is. Now, this actually takes me to my other point that I need to make, which is there are so many other things in life, the segments of life I like to call it, because there are other things that most men and very A-type women don't pay attention to. And one of those things, I could list a bunch, but let's talk about what some of those other things that's typically missing from someone's success equation. What are some of those things? Another one of those things is, I'm going to use a different color. Let's say the first thing, we're talking about relationships, so let's put significant other here. So let's say plus significant other, sig other. What else? You got health. What else? You got family. So significant other is not family. You might have family and kids, right? So let's put family. What else? You have your friends. You got everyone has friends. And I know this one is debatable because some people will be like, man, I'm switching up my friends. However, you still need people to get to where you need to get to. So I'm going to put friends. And lastly, I'm going to put what I think is one of the most important. It's personal growth, personal development. So I'll just put PD. Now, here's why I think this is so important and where the balance comes in. Because like we showed in the equation, we needed everything on the other side, the left side of the equation, to balance out to give you success. Now, if we minused one of these things, could you live? Right? Could you live, or would it? That's the wrong question. The right question would be, would it still be equal to success for you? Right? Whatever success is, if we were to minus the thing, would it still be equals to success for you? So let's go through the list, right? So one of the things that I said before, some people would say, man, I got to change my friends to be where I need to be at. All right, cool. So let's minus friends. And so if you minus friends, could you still say that when you get to that $1 million a year, $1 million a month, whatever it may be for you, is that still success? And if the answer is yes, amazing. It still equals to success. Now, let's start taking out some other things. Now, let's take out family. If you lost your family, would that still be equals to success for you? So let's say we all achieved our goal. We all achieved the thing that we wanted, right? So if it was $1 million, if it was the dream house, if it was the lifestyle, if you were able to do all of those things without your family, would it still be equals to success for you? This is one of the questions I think most people don't ask themselves before getting into business, entrepreneurship, and not even getting into it, but the level that they want to get to. Because to everything, there's a price. And are you willing to pay the price to get to the thing, right? And so family, are you willing to give that up? Let's keep going, right? So we also have health. Are you willing to give up your health? If you were to lose your health and had success, are you still successful? I'm going to say that again. If you were to lose your health and have success, do you still consider yourself a success? Or are you going to be using the success, the money, and all the things that you accumulated to try to save your health? Remember Steve Jobs, he passed, I believe it was in 2009. He passed in 2009, and what did he pass from? He had Steve Jobs. So those of you who don't know, he was one of the people CEOs of Apple, and he took Apple. I mean, if you looked at Apple right now, they're a $3 trillion company. But when Steve Jobs passed, he passed when they were at, I think it was $350 billion. And he passed from pancreatic cancer. Now here's the thing. He didn't get to see the company get to 3 trillion. He got it to 350 million, and I mean, who's complaining, right? But here's the thing. He knew he had a vision to get it there, but because he lost his health, he didn't take care of his health, he wasn't around to see it. And so this is one of the things that you have to ask yourself as you pursue entrepreneurship, as you pursue business. What are you willing to give up? Is it still success if you lose that thing, right? If you lose that thing, let's get back to the board. Significant other. Are you willing to lose? Are you willing to lose your significant other for success? I have several clients who have lost their significant other due to pursuing what they deem as success, and they're broken. They have slowed down tremendously. Their sense of why and purpose all changed. They had no idea. And so imagine this, because most people, this is a belief that most people have, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for the family. But is it really worth it to lose the family in pursuit of the thing that you're saying is actually for the family? Now, this is a question we all got to ask ourselves. Because if the answer to that is no, then it's not success. So if you lose your significant other in the pursuit of pursuing success, is it actually success? And then lastly on the board, we have personal development. Personal development. Now, here it is, simple and plain. You would only grow to the level of your mindset. If it is that you decide to not pursue personal development, Cool. And that's the reason why most people stay comfortable, because they're like, man, I worked so hard to get to this point. I'm not willing to bust my butt for another how many ever years to get to that thing, that deep desire. And so many people stay so unfulfilled because that potential that's inside of all of us remains inside of all of us, and it's not going anywhere. And so when you say that you're not growing and you're not pursuing personal development, or it's something that is not going to be on that side of the equation, can you actually get to your definition of success? And I'm not talking about the settled definition of success that you've settled for. I'm talking about that thing that's a burning desire that you know that's inside of you, but you started playing small due to the inability or the unwillingness to continue to pursue your dreams, your goals, your desires. So Keston, what does this have to do with relationships, red flags? Because here's the thing, and the point that we're talking about is the prioritization of quality time. Now let's tie this entire thing back. If it is that you believe or you don't believe some of the things that I just said, then you're only going to be pursuing success and pursuing your career. And so if we go back to the board, you realize that I have on here business. And so business is unaffected. Matter of fact, you spent most of your time pursuing business and no time pursuing all of the other things. And so you have to be able to ask yourself, if I put all of my focus on business and none or little of my focus on the other things, and I start to lose it, is it still successful? Now, based on this equation, we know that if this number was anything but 11, it would be an incorrect equation. And so my question to you is prioritizing your work over quality time. I only see you when I say this. My question to you is if prioritizing your work over quality time makes a difference in your life. Is it important to you that you would sacrifice your relationship? And peep this, not because your significant other isn't saying all that much or they're not complaining consistently, but they do mention it every here and there, means that they're happy. Guys, every divorce didn't start when that was presented. It was built up over time. And are you paying attention to the signs? Are you paying attention to the signs of the things? I'll share with you guys, when I first got started in entrepreneurship and this was wholesaling. My wife and I, we were wholesaling, and it was one of those, we gotta grind, you gotta work. And so we were working hard. And when we go to date nights, y'all know this, when you go to date nights and a seller or a buyer is calling, my wife would be like, dude, we're watching a movie, we're at dinner. And I'm like, babe, I gotta do this to provide. Like, what else do you want from me, right? Because I'm beating my chest like, hey, look at me, I'm providing, I'm hustling. And so I took a lot of pride in that. And I had to decide what was more important, because it came up several times, and all I kept saying was, I gotta do this for my family. I gotta do this for my family. But I was actually making my family more unhappy. And so I had to pull back and think about what I really wanted. What did I really want? And so in doing that, I had to build myself up to getting used to not answering calls when I was on date night. And I know some of you guys may not may not agree with this value. And that's okay. I'm sharing from my value because to me, if we were to go back to the board, I believe that there are things that you can do to have that balance. Because here's the thing, and this is where I think most people have that misunderstanding. When we say balance, we believe that we need to allocate the same exact amount of time to each thing. And that's simply not true. You do not need to allocate the same amount of time. For instance, all my wife wanted from me was 2 hours. Go to date night, go watch a movie, go eat, go back home. Your kids, they probably require less, especially when they're grown. Like right now, I have a 14-year-old son, and he's done with me after 30 minutes, maybe. He wants to go back, go play Fortnite. And so it's filling their cup up to what they need. The question is, do you know what they need to be able to give them 100% that's now going to make them feel like you've given them a fair share of your time? Is that something you're willing to do? And so in this series that we're going to be jumping into so many other topics in this red flags for relationships, red flags for high performers. We're going to be jumping into so many different topics, and I hope you guys got some value from today where we jumped into people who consistently prioritize their work time over quality time. And tomorrow, stay tuned. We're going to have a guest on as we talk about another red flag. So I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Stay here every day this week at 5 p.m. I'm going to be doing this live, so I hope you lock in with me, and I hope you guys got some value from today. Peace.